Alright, I am back with another Genshin Impact video, even though nobody really watches these on my channel, but this is the biggest new event the game has had in pretty much its whole year about of existence here, so I felt the need to do at least a couple videos on it because it is such a significant moment for a very significant game, like it or not. I am pretty much what I would call done with Inazuma, the new region that they just added, and the largest region they have added since launch. It is a fully new country, modeled after Japan. I am going to be playing some gameplay footage here that is based on the main story quest, including a boss battle, but this is stuff you should get to pretty early on, I'd say, like if you're just going through the main story quest. That said, I guess technically a spoiler warning if you haven't gotten to, a little further into the main storyline yet. Besides that, I have completed roughly, I'm at like 80% puzzle completion or clear for each of the 3 islands. I've done all the major quests I can find. I've finished, I think there's 2 acts of the current main storyline, or 2 chapters of the current act done. So I've gone through all that, and it just sort of ends weirdly. So I think it's over. Like, I don't think I missed a quest trigger to do something else now. I think we're just waiting. And then pretty much all these side quests you can finish just if you find them, but there is one about some like furnace device or something that keeps putting me on a time gate, and then when I log in the next day, a new step is available, and that I just did this step for today, and it's still not over. It's interesting because each of the 3 islands essentially has some sort of cleansing mechanic, because when you get to Inazuma, it's pretty rough. Like, one of the zones is just like constantly striking you with lightning. Another zone is like kind of these corrupted areas to it, and then the last zone has this furnace where the entire space surrounding this furnace for mining or whatever it's for will like electrify you and hurt you if you're inside there unless you kind of have protection. I cleared the first 2. The one involves probably what I would say is the best quest of the expansion. It's a really elaborate clearing process where you have to perform this sacred whatever ritual at each of the routes, and then you fight a final like tumor boss at the end, and you're kind of warding away evil spirits by doing this. It involves some really interesting kind of puzzle mechanics, and is 6-step quest at the very least, and you can do them all in a row. I did have to look up guides for a couple parts just because it wasn't immediately clear what to do, and I was tired of wandering around aimlessly. But generally speaking, that was a really good quest and something that you shouldn't miss because it does it unlocks a lot of areas where you can get the Electro Oculus collectibles before you drive yourself crazy trying to find them like buried underground somewhere. A lot of those are not accessible until you do quests like this. The other quest was kind of interesting where you have to reactivate these sort of shrines with a mechanic where you bounce a beam of electro around different pillars to kind of open up different areas. That was pretty cool and occasionally frustrating, but mostly pretty good. The puzzles generally, all the electro puzzles, I like most of them. Some of them I don't like. I hate the ones where it's the lit up squares and then you have to hit them to like make them all light up with the same amount of lights. Like, I just feel too stupid to do those, and I just kind of whack at it for 5 minutes until it does it through pure chance. I'm not a huge fan of some of the like connect the electric chain ones, which I don't know. I've just given up on some of those because like I just don't really understand what I'm missing, and like I don't even know how to Google a guide for that. So I've done, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of those, but the last set I'm just kind of like over, and I don't want to do them. This is why I'm at 80% clear and not like 90-95%. And then everything else, there are 2 domains I still have yet to find out how to access. I should probably just Google those because I can't just figure out how to get to them on my own. Maybe those are a part of some future quests I haven't discovered yet, or maybe there is a secret way to get to them that I just don't understand. But there are 2 full domains that are not like farmable ones. They just like give you something on completion. But those are kind of the last 2 major things I have yet to do. As I mentioned in my other video, I did pull Ayaka. I was hard locked by the amount of Sakura Bloom I could get because I just farmed all of them on the map, and they're on a 48-hour respawn timer, so I think they just came back today. And I grabbed a couple before this video, and I got her up to level 70, and my team is all like 80s, 90s, so ideally I'm going to get her to 90, but that is going to take at least a week of pretty hefty farming. I think I'm good on most of the other materials, although getting her to the final stage is going to take a lot of the things that you get from killing samurai, and then even more Sakura blooms. So, and then you got to farm this one boss like, I don't know, 20 times to get him to drop all his little parts you need. And then there's the ice crystals that you can get from the old map. So it is a lot of work just to get her as part of my team, even though I spent real money to get her. Won't say how much. No, it wasn't that much comparatively to Hu Tao. I spent way too much money on Hu Tao. She's C2. So I just have one Ayaka, and that's good for me. I've decided I probably am going to save for Bale just because she looks so cool. We got a preview of her weapon today. She's another polearm hero, which people are mad because we've gotten a lot of polearm heroes lately, and Zhongli is also a polearm Archon. And yet there is no polearm Electro hero, so I kind of understand what they were going for there. Her ult, it turns out, is pulling the sword out of her chest and then going nuts with it, which is pretty cool, as you'll see in the boss battle video here, and that's just kind of a taste. I was very confused with the boss battle because I didn't understand if I was supposed to be able to kill her. I'm like, this is going to take a million years if I'm actually supposed to be killing her. But then she just essentially has like a wipe mechanic that I don't think it's physically possible to kill her in this current state. So we'll see how that goes. I like the main storyline. I think it's cool to have a very clear villain that you're kind of up against. Usually the villains we get on our team like end up being like allies, like Child, but she seems like a pretty hardcore enemy, so I'm not really sure how they're gonna justify that. I guess we'll see. But I'm certainly looking forward to using her, although again that'll be another huge process of saving up materials and leveling up, but at least now we can pre-farm stuff. In terms of, this character, that character pulls, the fundamental bottom line is like you can come back and play all the Inazuma content having missed, everything before this, like more or less, or not having spent any money on the game. Everything in the actual expansion is free, like all these puzzles, all these quests are free. You do not need any specific high-powered characters to do anything. It helps if you have an Electro character, but like everybody has Lisa. I think they were giving away Fischl at some point, and I feel like Keqing is such a common 5-star that if you have ever gotten a 5-star hero, it's maybe a pretty good chance it's Keqing, and that's who I've been using. Keqing used to be my main until I kept duping her, and I got tired of that. So I duped her again when I was trying to get Ayaka this time, which was unpleasant. But I have been using her a lot, and she's not as good as my other 5-stars, but it's interesting to go back to her again after all this time. I don't really know what else I'm supposed to be doing now. There's kind of an ongoing event where you like zip around using the Electro things to do like glider challenges, but that's really kind of it right now. I think there's another component to it later, but I have finished all of the main story quests that exist for now, and I'm just kind of waiting for further developments, and I'm waiting for materials respawn so I can actually use Ayaka, although it's really weird to get Ayaka and then not be like, I have not used her for any of this content because she wasn't strong enough, so I'm only going to use her for future content, I suppose, which is pretty weird, but that's kind of the way the system works. I wish there was more of like a catch-up factor, but that's the grind. They gotta have something to grind, and here we are. So anyway, I've really enjoyed it, and it is something you can hop back into without paying any money. You do not need Ayaka or anyone else to do it. It's a beautiful level. It is really interesting kind of puzzle design, and the new enemies are pretty cool. And overall I am satisfied with this, and I think it is probably worth the wait, and it reflects a huge amount of effort that they're probably going to be putting into future zones. They came out with some roadmap where it was like the next 4 zones are going to be out within the next 4 years. So this is not some like decade-long plan they have to fill out the map. It is happening sooner than we might think. So I'm, they have so much money and so many people working on this at this point that they're going to, really have a flying pace of content here. So I think this is a good game to invest in, either, mostly time-wise, but I guess you can invest money in it too. But just in terms of like keeping up with it, keeping current with the quests, that does not cost anything and is perfectly just fine to do with kind of base heroes or free heroes you've pulled. And this expansion especially is worth checking out. I know this game has like events that run all the time, and so it can be kind of hard to lose track of when you should come back or if you should come back, and this is an occasion where you definitely should come back, and that I highly recommend it if you enjoyed kind of the initial exploration parts of the first 2 maps where everything was new and there was so much to discover. that really recreates, this recreates that feeling here in Inazuma, which may only last a week or so until you kind of power through it and do everything, and yet it's still fun, it's free, so you might as well. So those are my thoughts. I don't know if I'll do another Genshin video anytime soon. Maybe I'll do an Ayaka video once I get her to an actual reasonable level, but that might not be for a while at this rate, so we'll see. But anyways, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.